My lawyer called me at work and said, "Your ex just testified under oath that you tried to drown your daughter during your weekend visitation. What are you talking about?" He said there was an emergency hearing and I needed to get there now. I rushed to the courthouse and saw my ex holding our 3-year-old daughter surrounded by people handing her tissues. The second she saw me, she screamed, "That's him! That's the man who tried to kill our baby!" Every head turned and stared at me like I was a monster. She handed the judge a medical report showing water in our daughter's lungs from almost drowning. If he believed her, I would lose my daughter forever. But something felt wrong. The hospital was 40 miles from the lake. Why would I drive past 3 hospitals to get there? The judge believed her and granted the emergency order. My ex smiled as she walked past and whispered, "Should have signed the divorce papers," when I asked nicely. That night I sat alone in my apartment scrolling through videos of my daughter saying, "Daddy," over and over until my eyes burned. I kept thinking about that hospital 40 miles away, and I couldn't let it go. The next morning my boss called me into his office. He closed the door behind him and wouldn't look me in the eye. "I'm sorry, but we can't have someone under investigation working with clients." Just like that, I was out. Then my mom called sobbing. "How could you do this to your own child? I saw the medical report. I can't even look at you." I tried to tell her the hospital didn't make sense, but she hung up before I could finish. Everyone believed my ex. I had no job, no family, and no way to see my daughter, but I refused to let her win. I hired a lawyer and sat across from him with the report spread out on his desk. I was at work all morning. I have badge swipes to prove it. This doesn't add up. He looked into it and called me back with his voice sounding completely different. "You need to come in right now." I drove to his office and he slid the report across the desk. "This is time-stamped from that morning. You were still at work. You didn't even have your daughter yet. Someone else took her to that hospital before I ever picked her up. My ex has a boyfriend she always called nobody important. I dug into him and found out he's a paramedic at that exact hospital. I brought this to my lawyer and he subpoenaed the parking records. The boyfriend's car was there that same morning, hours before I ever had custody. Then my lawyer leaned forward and said, "There's more. She filed paperwork to relocate overseas the same week she accused you." It all clicked. She was planning to disappear with my daughter and make sure I never found them. My lawyer warned the boyfriend that perjury is a felony. When I walked into the courtroom, my ex was surrounded by friends telling her how brave she was. She saw me and started fake crying, but the second they looked away, she smirked and mouthed, "She's mine now." Then she blew me a kiss. My lawyer stood up. The courtroom goes silent and I can hear my own heartbeat. My lawyer holds up the report. "You testified the drowning happened in the afternoon, so why is this report from that morning?" My ex laughs. Actually laughs. "They wrote it down wrong. Hospitals make mistakes all the time." She looks at me and shrugs like this is already over. My lawyer holds up my badge records. "Your ex-husband was clocked in at work all morning. He wasn't even with your daughter when this was created." The smile drops off her face. My lawyer calls the boyfriend to the stand. He walks in like he's heading to his own execution. I notice a wedding ring on his finger. My lawyer holds up the parking records. "Your car was at the hospital that morning, hours before the father had custody. Perjury is a felony." The boyfriend looks at my ex like he's begging her to save him. She mouths the word "don't," but he's already breaking. "She told me it was the only way to get custody and leave the country." My ex slams her hand on the table. "Shut up." My lawyer steps closer. "How did the water get in the child's lungs?" The boyfriend is sobbing now. "I held her under in the bathtub just until she coughed. Her mom recorded it telling her to cough louder. When she started crying for her daddy, her mom told her she'd hold her under again if she didn't shut up." The room gasps. My ex launches out of her chair so fast it crashes to the floor. "You're ruining everything!" 2 guards rush toward her and she shoves one backward. The judge stands. "You are in contempt, and I am referring you for criminal charges." The rage drains from her face, and suddenly she looks like a trapped animal. "Wait, I'm the victim. I'm the mother." The guards drag her toward the door and she twists around and locks eyes with me. "This isn't how this was supposed to go. I got full custody that day. My daughter is finally home."